Now, as you all know, Disneyland's Star Wars Galaxy's Edge isn't doing so hot right now. You would think that a Star Wars theme park would do great, and in theory, you're right, it should do great. But we've got to remember who's pulling the strings on this one, and that there's a huge hidden agenda behind them acquiring the Star Wars license. From day one, it's been very clear that their main intentions have been to milk the franchise and the fandom for as much cash as possible, and to their surprise, with their recent efforts, they've begun to fail. Star Wars was everything to me as a kid. It means so much to so many people, and to see the biggest company in the entertainment industry drive it into the ground is excruciatingly sad. All I want is to see the franchise I fell in love and grew up with as a kid succeed and go on to be just as special to the next generation as it was to the ones before it. But no, this generation of kids will never know the Star Wars we knew as kids. The heroes have been tarnished and misrepresented so badly, I don't think they'll ever be seen the same. And all these things have happened purely to push a company's political agendas and make as much revenue as they possibly can while failing to build a lasting story that no one will ever care about. Now, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to realize there's a direct correlation between a lot of this stuff and why Galaxy's Edge is failing so badly. But like I said, I'm a fan of Star Wars, and I want to see it do well. The idea of a Star Wars theme park honestly has so much potential, and it should be doing 10 times better than it is. In fact, where's all the people? Why is there nobody there? How did this even happen? And I think I have an idea. Quite a few, actually. I've thought long and hard about this, and I think I figured it out. So that's what we're going to be talking about over the next few minutes. Don't forget, I'll be here making fun videos for you guys every single week. By subscribing, you can stay up to date on all the latest movies and theories that everyone's going to be talking about. All you have to do is go down and hit that red button that says subscribe, and you'll become part of this community that's filled with tons of people that love to talk about all the same things that you love to talk about. And now make sure you watch until the end of the video, because we're going to be figuring out just how to fix Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with these 3 things. So buckle up and hang on tight, because just like the other video we made, this is going to be a genuine Disney mess. I don't know how they managed to mess up something so big when all the fans are telling them what they wanted. But I guess when your priority is to make money over making something that the people will love, it makes sense that they would completely miss the second part. Now, before we jump into it, I just want to start off by saying that Galaxy's Edge is not all bad. I'm not going to sit here and whine about every single tiny little detail, but instead I want to observe what they did wrong, talk about why it's wrong, and then give constructive criticism on how to make it better. I'm sure they got some stuff right, but that's just not where we're going to be talking about today. I want to focus on the bigger issue at hand and figure out why it flopped and see how it can be fixed. As much as they're trying to make it seem like everything's fine and people are just exaggerating, everything is not fine. Attendance has done nothing but drop since it opened, so badly in fact that they said if they don't see a substantial rise by February, the entire land will be reconstructed and repurposed. Employees' hours are getting cut and no one is hanging out in the park. These are things that are big enough to make Disney sit down and talk about if it's worth keeping Star Wars in the parks or not. I mean, I'm sure they won't get rid of it entirely. In fact, I'm hoping they listen to the fans and finally give us what we want. But I've been worried for a while now that if the toys and movies and games and TV shows and everything Star Wars they put money into continues to pull less and less of a profit, they'll eventually ditch the franchise altogether and we won't get any more Star Wars content. Solo lost money at the box office. They didn't make a profit. Another Star Wars TV show has just been canceled, and they recently have pulled all the Star Wars toys out of Walmart and decided to stop selling them there. The Last Jedi was a huge flop with a major backlash, and now the Galaxy's Edge flop, I mean, it's just not looking too good. I don't see them dropping the whole franchise anytime soon. If they keep having big failures like these though, I wouldn't be surprised if they slowly stop putting as much money into it as they are. But we're going to try to look on the bright side for the rest of this video and talk about what they can do to save it. Now, the first thing they need to focus on is giving the land more substance. They need to add more things to do there. Right now, all it is an overpriced shopping mall with a big video game. There's no reason to stick around after you've seen everything unless you want to spend loads of cash on these shops where they're selling things anywhere from 3 to 5 figures. Give us a reason to stay and enjoy ourselves, you know? There's nothing for the kids to do. It's basically all shopping. Did they build this land for adults or children? There's no rides for the kids. The only attraction that's open is a big video game that's a minute or two long, which I've heard the queue line walking through the Falcon is better than the actual simulation. But after you do that and walk around and see everything, what else is there to do for a kid? Go to the cantina and try some alcoholic Star Wars drink? This is the only place in Disney that's specifically designated for drinking alcohol. You would think that this means they built this land more for adults, right? Go to a Star Wars bar and relive all your childhood memories? But no, you don't have any memories of this place at all. In fact, this isn't the Mos Eisley Cantina from A New Hope you knew from your childhood. This is some random bar on some random planet that was just recently added to the Disneyverse with none of the characters you grew up loving. So who exactly was this park built for? I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but a fan made a design of what an ideal Star Wars theme park should look like, and I gotta say, this looks like every fan's dream. I would pay way too much money to go here. This looks like so much fun. I mean, look at this. You've got a snow speeder roller coaster in Hoth, a treetop playground for the kids in Endor, Camino has been turned into a water park area for the hot days, days, and you've got a pod racer coaster, which would be so cool. I mean, you've got all the shopping you could ever want. Characters scattered throughout the park, ships everywhere you can go explore, play areas for the kids, coasters for the families. I mean, there's everything to do here. It's literally too good to be true. If Disney announced they were doing something like this, I would just brush it off as another rumor floating around the internet. Galaxy's Edge needs to have more stuff to do that's catered towards people just wanting to have a good time. We need a roller coaster or a kids play area or something to justify us wanting to come back each day of summer. I feel the hype of going to see the Falcon, but I'm worried after that wears off, you'll just be walking around the shops burning time and wishing you had money to spend. I think that's the first big issue that they need to fix. At the very least, it would be cool to be able to walk up to the ships that are there to get a picture or get in the cockpit like you can with the speeder out front of Star Tours, but nope, everything is roped off and you just gotta look at it from a distance. That's Disney for you. Now next, and I think probably the most important, is they need to have some sort of element from their original Star Wars in the land. By original Star Wars, I mean the untouched by Disney Star Wars, episodes 1 through 6 and all the shows and characters before Disney. Galaxy's Edge is all about pushing the Disney Star Wars, and that's not what we want. It's okay if it's in the park so the people that like it can go enjoy it, but then have the original Star Wars in the park for the majority, because that's what Star Wars is to us. Star Wars isn't what it used to be to kids today as it was when it first came out. Kids could rewatch Star Wars over and over again because that was the only thing of its kind back in the day. Now the entertainment industry is much more saturated with stuff like this, and Disney is just expecting kids to fall in love with it like they did back in the day when it first came out. But for that to happen, they have to have something worth falling in love with. Everyone fell in love with it back in the day because it was worth falling in love with. Today, they've turned it into a political mess. The characters portray different versions of themselves than they did in the originals, and it's just become a pointless cash grab compared to the amazing galaxy of adventures we fell in love with as a kid. Disney has blatantly stated multiple times, and even in the movies, that they want to directly move away from the originals while stealing their fan base and milking them for all the money they can. Disney has heard the complaints, I just don't know why they won't do something about them. Hire new people to oversee the direction of the franchise who are actual fans of Star Wars and have the right intentions and priorities first. I just don't understand why they wouldn't have just went with Mos Eisley or something we grew up with. There's actually a rumor going around that could explain a lot of it. Apparently, someone has surfaced saying that Lucas still owns the original Star Wars movies and gets residuals for all the original characters and major elements he created, like lightsabers or the Falcon, stuff like that. Theoretically, if this was right, this would be why Disney's sole purpose has been to get rid of everything that was once Star Wars and make it their own so that they get all the profit to themselves and don't have to give any to Lucas. I mean, all the new movies so far have been made around the original trilogy. I mean, even look at the new Mandalorian show that's coming out soon. Why not make it about Boba Fett? Why is it about some random guy? The fans would kill to have a Boba Fett TV show. But by not using Boba Fett and coming up with their own character, Disney will get to keep all of the revenue instead of giving Lucas some percent. They need to stop focusing on selling an immersive experience with the park and just listen to what the fans want. Immerse us with the Star Wars we grew up with, or at the very least, make part of it based on the original trilogy and part of it on the sequels. Don't try to force us to like your Star Wars. It isn't working. You can still have it there, but give us what we want too, and give us more things to do there. We want to have fun when we go there, as well as be immersed. It's like they completely forgot about the part of having fun. Now, the third thing that I think would have the biggest positive impact on the state of Galaxy's Edge right now is that it needs to be affordable. It doesn't matter if it was made for kids or adults, it needs to be affordable. Before Galaxy's Edge opened, tickets to Disney for the day were $120, but because they thought a bunch of people were going to flood the park, they went ahead and raised the price to $150. But that's just to get in. If you want to do the lightsaber experience, it's an extra $200 per person. And if you want to go do the droid workshop, that's another $100 per droid. If you want to go to the cantina and grab a drink, they've got one there for a whopping $42. $30 for a Coke and a sandwich is way too much, but this is all just for one person for one day. If you live somewhere else and want to fly your wife and 2 kids to Disney for 4 days, you're looking at spending at least $4,000. And when the average combined household income in the US is only $60,000, spending $4,000 isn't the best decision. That's 15% of you and your wife's combined annual income spent in 4 days on a place that doesn't have that much to do there. If anything, that just screams bad financial decision. There's so many better things you can do for a whole week that's under $4,000. If the park had the other 2 elements already, more stuff to do, and elements from the original Star Wars, it would definitely warrant the higher price. People would still pay it. In fact, I'd go as far to say that it'd actually be packed. I mean, look at any other theme park edition that's opened in the last 10 years. This has never happened before. When Soarin' came out years ago, the line was 3 hours long for years. People will wait 4 hours every day for Pandora's Flight of Passage. I mean, look at Cars Land. Toy Story Mania is still 3 hours every day. And look at the new Harry Potter ride. It's a 10-hour wait every single day. The park isn't failing because of all these excuses Disney is feeding us. It's because the fans that they were banking on coming to the park and being their customers are not coming to the park and spending their money. They were so confident that the fans would be mobbing the place and beating down the door just because they slapped Star Wars on it that they completely forgot to build a park that we would actually want to go to. And like I said before, I love Star Wars. I want to see it succeed. It genuinely makes me sad to see it in this state that it's in, and I want it to get better. Thank you guys for watching the video. I want you to go watch my other Galaxy's Edge video, and I want to know what you guys think about this and how these fixes would help the park. Share this video with a friend, and don't forget to subscribe because I'll be back next week with another video. Go hit that subscribe button to join the community. I'm going to put a circle on the screen. You can just click that to subscribe. It couldn't be any easier. I'm also getting ready to move at the end of the week, and I'm getting a little nervous trying to keep track of all the different things that need to be taken care of. If you want to come say hi and show some support and keep up with the channel on a more frequent basis, go talk to me on Twitter at MichaelJYT. But until next time, I will see you in the comments. Peace.